أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون يستبشرون بنعمة من الله وفضل وأن الله لا يضيع أجر المؤمنين الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح للذين أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. कल हम सूरह आले इमरान की आयत 170 पर बात कर रहे थे.
Yesterday we were discussing verse 170 of Surah Aale-Imraan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون. Think not of those who have been slain in the cause of Allah as dead. Nay, they are living in the presence of their Lord and are granted gifts from Him. Huzur is saying that I is actually speaking about the other two verses in conjunction with this one, which translate as the verses are فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ, jubilant because of that which Allah has given them out of His bounty. يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِالَّذِي لَمْ يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ, and rejoicing for those who have not yet joined them. Allah khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun, because on them shall come no fear nor shall they grieve. Huzur is saying that there were some matters still left with reference to these verses, so Huzur is returning to them. Here two meanings have been taken from the word lam yalhaqu. Lam yalhaqu bihim min khalfihim, that as to what who this refers to, most commentators take this to mean those companions who have not yet passed away, who have not yet been martyred. They have not yet met those companions about whom their souls are feeling pleased that they are going to enjoy the same blessings. So they think it refers to those companions who have martyrdom destined for them, but who had not yet been martyred. And some people think it means all the people who are left behind. And Hazrat Muslim Zanho also is inclined towards this, and I have already explained to you his commentary. There's one aspect which Su said I had not presented before you in two ways. Two words, lam and lamma, take the future into present tense, and it can also give the meaning of negative. Just as Huzur is saying in our Jamaat, it's very well known, lamma wa akharina minhum lamma yalhaqu bihim. The word lamma is used. Yalhaqu is about the future or and present, and lamma makes it, lamma changes it to a past tense, and lam also changes into past tense, but giving it a negative meaning. But there is a difference. When lamma is used, then
का सारा माजी
it gives a meaning
और
of
बैरिक माजी सब इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, सब इसके अंदर शामिल हो जाते हैं।
istimrar. That means that
लेकिन
all of
लम
the
जो है वो
past
मुतलक माजी का माना पैदा
is
करता है
included in this,
और इस्तिमरार का
but
माना
the word lam
शायद ले लिया जाए तो
means
गलत ना
only
होगा,
such
मगर
past
लम के
which is
इस्तेमाल में लाजिमन दाखिल नहीं है।
perhaps only of a certain time,
मसलन
but
इसी आयत को अगर हम
it is not essentially, this is
पढ़ें,
not an essential distinction.
अगर हम कहें
For
लम्मा
example, in the
यल्हक़ू
same verse, if you say
तो
it, if
वैसी
you read
ही
it in
वैसी
this
ही
way,
आयत बन
if you
जाएगी
say
जैसे
lamma
कि
yalhaqu bihim,
आखरीन मिनहुम लम्मा यल्हक़ू बिहिम
then
मज़मून बयान हुआ है।
it will be the same
इसका मतलब
same
ये
style of
बनेगा वो अब
verse
तक
as we have
जबकि बात हो
in
रही है
آخرين
उनसे
منهم
नहीं
لما
है।
يلحقوا بهم. So then they
ये
will say that
इम्कान रोशन
up
हो
to this
जाता है कि
point,
अब तक नहीं
when this
मिले
is being
तो कल
said,
शायद
they
मिल
haven't
जाएंगे।
yet met them,
इसलिए
and then this
इसको कहते
possibility
हैं कि
comes
लम्मा का इस्तेमाल माजी में
comes
इस्तिमरार
out
दाखिल
that
करता
if
है
they haven't met them
और नफी के
today,
माने
up
भी
to
पैदा
today, but
करता
they
है।
meet them
लेकिन
tomorrow.
कुरान
So
करीम ने यहाँ लम यल्हक़ू का लफ्ज़
this means
इस्तेमाल
this is
मुहावरा इस्तेमाल
then
फरमाया है,
people say
वो
that
उनसे
it
नहीं मिले।
it gives it this
इसमें
kind of meaning, but
ये मज़मून लाज़िमन
here
दाखिल
Allah
नहीं है
has
कि
used
वो
the word lam
मिलने वाले
yalhaqu,
हैं,
they have not met
कि
them.
अब तक नहीं मिले और
In
कल को
this,
शायद आ मिलेंगे।
it doesn't necessarily
इसलिए
mean
जो
that they are going to meet them,
जिनका रुझान जिन मुफस्सिरीन का
that
रुझान
or that they haven't met them
अमूमियत की
yet,
तरफ है
but they may meet them
कि वो
tomorrow.
शहीद भी
So
इसमें
those
दाखिल होंगे,
people,
मगर
those
वो सब
commentators
शामिल हैं
who
जो
are
पीछे रह गए
who
हैं।
take it to mean
मैं भी उन्हीं की ताइज़ हूँ, मेरा भी यही रुझान है।
generality, that it could
और जैसा
include
कि
those
दूसरे मौके की
martyrs as well who
तफसीर
are
में
going to be martyred
जिक्र हो
afterwards,
चुका है,
but it also
वो
includes all
अजीम
of the
कौमी
people who are left
फ़वाइद
behind, as well, saying that
जो
I'm inclined towards
शुहदा
this as
के
well. And just as it's
जो
mentioned in the
कुर्बानियों से ताल्लुक़
commentary
रखते
of the
हैं,
Hazrat Muslim Azanhu,
वो
those
सिर्फ
great
उन लोगों के लिए तो नहीं है जो
benefits
बाद
that
में
the whole
शहीद
nation
होंगे,
enjoys
वो
due
तो
to the
सारी कौम के लिए
sacrifices of the
बाज़ दफ़ा नस्लन बाद नस्लन
martyrs.
ज़ाहिर
It's not
होने वाले
only for those
फ़वाइद हैं।
people who are
इसलिए
going to be
जहाँ
martyred
कुरान करीम
afterwards,
में
and for the
अमूमियत
whole
रखी है वहाँ
nation.
उसको
And sometimes
महदूद
they
कर
are
देना
blessings
चंद लोगों
that
तक,
they enjoy
ये
generation after
कुरान के
generation. So
फैज़ को
where
महदूद
the Holy
करने का
Quran
निदान बन
has
जाती है।
made it general
और
to limit
वही
it to a few
बेहतर
people, this
और
is akin
आयत के
to
अंदाज के
limiting the
मुताबिक
blessings of the Holy
यही माने
Quran. And
कि वो तमाम
that is
लोग
the
जो उन
the better,
शुहदा से
and
पीछे रह गए
that
हैं,
is the better
उन
translation,
सब के मुतल्लिक़
that
वो
all of those
खुशखबरियों
people
की उम्मीदें
who
रखते हैं
have
और
been left
बहुत खुश हैं
behind
इस
from
बात से
those
कि उनके
martyrs,
लिए
about all of
अल्लाह ताला
them,
ने क्या मुक़द्दर फरमा रखा है।
they have they hope for glad tidings, and they are very happy with what Allah has destined for
यहाँ
them.
नेमत मिनल्लाह व फज़ला, या देखें क्या लफ्ज़ है,
Here,
देखिए
ne'mat minallahi wa fadla,
यस्तबशिरून बेनेमत
or saying, let
मिनल्लाह
me
व
see what
फज़लिन,
the actual words are.
वो खुश हो रहे हैं अल्लाह की नेमत से
Yastabshiruna
और
bi
उसके
ni'mati
फضल से।
minallahi wa fadlin.
अब बहुत से
They are
मुफस्सिरीन ने
happy
इस
with
बहस
the
को उठाया
blessings
है
of Allah.
कि नेमत से क्या मुराद है और फजल से क्या मुराद है।
And Hazur saying that many
ज़ाहिर ये
commentators
दोनों
have raised this
मिलती जुलती
question
चीज़ें हैं।
as to what
अल्लाह ताला फरमाते हैं वो नेमत
the
से भी
difference
खुश
between
हैं
the word
और फजल
ne'mat
से भी
and
खुश हैं।
fadl is.
इसलिए
They apparently
इस
seem to be the
मज़मून से
same,
मुतल्लिक़
similar
बाज़ आरा
things.
आपके सामने
Allah
रखता
is
हूँ।
saying that they are happy with the ne'ma and the
निज़ार
fadl.
ने कहा है कि नेमत से
So
अमाल का
with
बदला
reference to
मुराद है
this, Huzur says, I'll
और
present
फजल से
certain points of view in front of
उसकी
you.
तरफ से
Zujaj
मज़ीद
says
इनाम मुराद है।
that
ये
ne'mat
फजल
means the
ऐसी चीज़ को कहते हैं जो ज़ायद अजर के साथ
recompense
हो,
of one's
जो तुम्हें
reward,
कमाई
and
नहीं है
fadl
उसके अलावा
is
जो दी गई है। तो कहते हैं
extra
नेमत ही
blessings
तो
that are
मज़मून है,
given. So
लेकिन
what that which
नेमत बढ़ाने
you
का
have not
मज़मून है।
earned, but you have
जो
been
नेमत
given something
उनको अता
extra that
होगी
you've been
कुछ
given.
तो ऐसी
So
होगी जो
it's
उन्होंने नेक
still
अमाल
a
के
subject
ज़रिए
of
गोया कमा
blessings, but
ली है,
it's this increase in
लेकिन कुछ
blessings.
ऐसी होगी
So
जो
some of the
उसके अलावा
blessings are
महज अल्लाह
those which
ताला की
they'll be
तरफ से
given
अता
and
होगी।
are
तो
what they
उस
have earned because
ज़ायद
of their
नेमत
good
को
deeds, but there will be some
जो अमाल
which
की
they will be
कमाई से
given
ऊपर शुरू
extra
होती है,
just because of the
उसको
blessings
अल्लाह
of
ताला
Allah,
फजल के
and that
नाम से
extra
याद
blessing,
फरमाता है।
which is on top of the
और इसी तरह उन्होंने एक और
mere
मज़मून ये
reward
बयान किया
of
है
what they do, is
कि
called fadl by
ये भी
Allah.
कहा गया है, यानी ये ज़ुजाज का अपना कौल नहीं
And in
है,
the same way, another
बल्कि तफसीर मुहीत वाले
matter
ने
he explains
इसका
this,
जिक्र किया है।
that it has
ये भी
also been
कहा
said,
गया
this is
है
not the judge
कि फजल
himself
से
saying
मुराद
this, but
जन्नत के
in
अंदर
the
नौमा
Tafsir
की
Muhit
वसअतें
has
हैं।
mentioned it in this way, that it has
मुराद ये
also
है कि
been said
नेमतें
that
जो
fadl
उनको अता
means
होंगी,
the
क्योंकि
greatness of
जन्नत का जिक्र
blessings
चल रहा
in
है,
heaven,
इसलिए
meaning
जन्नत
that the
में
blessings which they are
नेमतों की कोई
given,
इंतहा नहीं होती
because the heaven is
और
being
फजल से
mentioned,
मुराद
therefore in heaven
लामुतना ही
there
नेमतों
is
का
no limit
सिलसिला
to
है
blessings,
जो
and
जन्नत में
fadl
वसअत वज़ीर होगा।
then means refers to unending eternal blessings which will increase in heaven, which will go on increasing in heaven.
यस्तबशिरून, वो खुश हैं कि अल्लाह ने उनके अजर को ज़ाया नहीं किया। बाद में ये माने लिए हैं कि अजर को ज़ाया नहीं किया।
यस्तबशिरून, they are happy that Allah did not waste their reward. Huzur saying some people have translated this in this fashion. This is not a very good translation. When have the believers seen that their rewards are wasted? Huzur is saying that they just put down anything that comes to their mind, but not everything should be accepted. It's not necessary that everything should be adopted. Huzur is saying that is given a verse of Urdu saying sometimes some commentators think of very good things, but some of these should not really be accepted.
नेमत और फजल में बुनियादी फ़र्क क्या है? इस गुफ्तगू में आयात में आपके सामने कुछ रखता हूँ।
What's the basic difference between nema and fadl? In this regard, as we're saying, I wish to present certain verses before you.
कि नेमत का लफ्ज़ आम है जो दुनिया की नौमा के
The Holy Quran tells us that the word nemat is a general subject which is also used for the gifts of this world and also about the gifts of the next world, and especially when it is used as a term, then it refers to spiritual statuses and towards heavenly teachings. And in all these meanings we have been told this prayer in the Surah Fatiha, Allazina anamta alayhim, that grant us the capacity to walk on that path which is the path of those upon whom you have showered your blessings. So this subject of inam, this has especially to do with the descent of Sharia and with prophethood, and stage by stage all those blessings which are given after prophethood, all the different statuses, spiritual statuses. So in this regard, he says, I wish to present certain examples in front of you. Huzur was told something, but he's saying that Huzur is saying that I was wondering why you looked anxious. Huzur is saying what I had written about the word nemat with my own hand, they have been written under fadl and nemat, distinction between those two with reference to a different verse, but the discussion is in the first verse. So he was reminding me that perhaps I'm doing this by mistake. We're not discussing that particular verse, but the blessing is definitely under discussion. So wherever the notes are, I'm going to tell you about them, even if Huzur says I'm stopped. Saying, let me just look at the numbers of the verses. Nemat wa fadl min Allah. Nemat is a very vast word of vast application, and it has to do with Sharia or the law. Therefore, the Holy Quran, where the Holy Quran uses the word atmam nemat, that is the completion of nema, then it talks about, it refers to prophethood. So where does it speaks of where does the blessing become complete? That is when somebody attains prophethood. And in this regard, there are many verses indicate towards this. For example, Ibrahim alayhi salam and Isaac and Jacob and his children, where the continuity of prophethood is mentioned. Allah called it itmam nemat, that is the completion of blessing. That remember when we completed our favor upon you. And in the same regard, the Holy Prophet's prophethood is also mentioned. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum وَأَتْمَمْتُ
यहाँ
عَلَيْكُمْ
दो लफ्ज़
نِعْمَتِي
हैं, इकमाल
وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ
और
الْإِسْلَامَ
इत्माम।
دِينًا.
इकमाल नेमत क्या है और
Here
इत्माम नेमत क्या है?
there are two words, ikmal
जहाँ
and
तक
itmam.
इत्माम नेमत का ताल्लुक़
Ikmal
है,
and
इससे
ni'mat, what is
मुराद ये है
ikmal and ni'mat and what's
इंसानी
itmam and ni'mat?
सलाहियतों को
As
अल्लाह
far
ताला
as
ने
itmam and ni'mat is
तरक्की की
concerned, this means
कि
that
इंसानी
man's
सलाहियतों में
capacities,
तरक्की
Allah
की जो आखिरी
puts
हद है
it on man's
वहाँ तक
progress
पहुँचा देना।
or man's
बस
capacities.
नेमत से मुराद
The
वो
final
तमाम सलाहियतें
limit
हैं
of
जो
man's
इंसान को अता होती हैं।
capacities to take it to the
और
final
कुरान
the
करीम
final
में
limit.
इस मज़मून
So
पर
it means
और
all
भी
those
शवाहिद मिलते
capacities
हैं
which man has
कि
been
नेमत
granted are meant in the
इंसानी
Holy Quran.
तख्लीक में जो सलाहियतें लिए हुए हैं
Sheds light on this in
उनकी
other
तरफ भी इशारा
verses
है
as
नेमत
well,
से।
that
बस नबूवत के
the
ताल्लुक में क्योंकि
capacities,
नेमत
hidden capacities that
उस
man has,
दर्जा
this
कमाल को
is
कहते
indicated
हैं
towards the
जहाँ
word nemat with
सलाहियतें पहुँच
reference
कर
to
ख़त्म हो
prophethood,
जाती हैं, उससे
because
आगे जा नहीं सकते,
nemat
उसको
is
इत्माम
that
नेमत कहा जाता है।
pinnacle of one's
अतममतु अलैकुम
capabilities
नेमती
beyond which one's
का मजमून
human
हज़रत
capacities
मोहम्मद
cannot
रसूलुल्लाह के ताल्लुक
go.
में
That is called
बैनी वो
itmam
मजमून
nemat.
नहीं
So
है जो इससे पहले
anamtu
अंबिया के
alaykum,
ताल्लुक में बयान हुआ है,
sorry,
क्योंकि यहाँ शख्स
atmamtu
मज़कूर
alaykum
की
nemati
सलाहियत
is
का
not
नेमत
is
व इत्माम
different
से कोई गहरा रिश्ता नहीं
from
है।
with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as
लेकिन
opposed
ये
to other
कहना दुरुस्त नहीं
prophets.
है कि जैसे
So
हज़रत इब्राहीम और आपकी
there
औलाद
was,
को
because there's a deep
इत्माम नेमत हुआ,
relationship
बैन
with
ही उसी शान का
the
इत्माम
completion
नेमत
of
नेमत आ हज़रत
the
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
blessings
वसल्लम पर
with the
भी हुआ,
capacity of a person.
क्योंकि
So the same
आ हज़रत
kind of
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
completion
वसल्लम की
of favor,
सलाहियतें इन
of
गुज़श्ता अंबिया
blessings
की सलाहियतों से
that
बहुत ज़्यादा
was
थी।
enjoyed by the children of
इसलिए
Abraham,
मौका और
that
महल
it
देखकर
was
बात की
not, it was
जाती है।
different from that of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
देखते
because the
हैं
Holy
वादा
Prophet
ज़ैफ़ व
sallallahu alaihi
क़दाकार
wasallam's
देखकर
capacities and
जब हज़रत
capabilities
मोहम्मद
were
रसूलुल्लाह का
much
ज़ब्त
more.
होती है
So
तो उसके उसमें इत्माम
Huzur is saying
नेमत का
that
मज़मून बहुत ही
when the
वसी
Holy
हो जाता
Prophet
है
sallallahu alaihi
और
wasallam's
उसका मर्तबा
capacity
बहुत
is
बुलंद हो
more
जाता है।
vast, then
मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह की
to
ये
for
नेमत
it
को
to
इत्माम तक
reach its
पहुँचाना
pinnacle, it
बहुत बड़ा
becomes
काम
much
है।
more vast and has a
तो
much more
फरमाया
elevated status.
तुम्हारे लिए हमने इत्माम
So
नेमत कर
the
दिया।
Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi
मोहम्मद
wasallam's
रसूलुल्लाह की ज़ात में
blessings
जितनी
reaching at their
सलाहियतें थीं
pinnacle
उन सब को
is a
अपने
huge
आखिरी
thing.
मकाम तक
So for
पहुँचाना है।
you, the blessings have
इस
been
बात का सबूत कि
taken to their
इसके
zenith,
नतीजे में
and
कुछ ऐसी
they were
चीज़
taken to
हासिल
their
हुई जो
final
पहले
point.
अंबिया को हासिल नहीं
And the
हुई,
proof of
वह है
this, that
वअकमलतु
a result
लकुम
of
दीनकुम।
that, something was
इकमाल
attained
दीन
which
का
was not
लफ्ज़ पहले
attained by other
अंबिया पर
prophets.
इस्तेमाल नहीं हुआ,
وَأَكْمَلْتُ أَتْمَمْتُ
इत्माम नेमत
لَكُمْ
का इस्तेमाल
دِينُكُمْ,
हुआ है।
sorry, أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ
उनकी
دِينُكُمْ,
सलाहियतें जब
that
अपने
religion was
आखिरी
perfected. This word was
मुंतहा को
not used
पहुंची
about other prophet.
तो उसके
The
बावजूद
completion
इकमाल
of
दीन ना हो सका।
favor was
जब मोहम्मद
favor in
रसूलुल्लाह
terms of
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
prophethood
वसल्लम के लिए
was
इकमाल दीन हुआ है,
mentioned for other
इसका
prophets,
इत्माम नेमत से
even though their
ताल्लुक है।
capacities reached their final
बस इकमाल
pinnacle,
दीन का
but
मज़मून
their
बयान
religion
करते
could
ही
not reach the
तवज्जो
final
इत्माम नेमत
pinnacle.
की
So
तरफ फेर
these
दी।
two things go
अल-यौम
together
अकमलतु लकुम दीनकुम
in the person of the Holy Prophet
वअतममतु
sallallahu alaihi
अलैकुम
wasallam.
नेमती
So
वरदीतु लकुमुल इस्लाम दीना।
once Allah said,
आज के दिन
"Al-yawma
हमने
akmaltu
अपनी
lakum dinukum wa
शरीयत को
atmamtu
कामिल
lakum
कर
dinukum
दिया
wa raditu lakum al-Islam
और
Madina." That
ये
today,
कमाली
on
शरीयत
this day,
मोहम्मद
we
रसूलुल्लाह के
have
इत्माम नेमत से ताल्लुक़
perfected
रखता है,
our Sharia,
जो किसी
and
और नबी
this perfection
के
of Sharia
की हद
was
इस्तिताअत में
had
नहीं।
to do with
इसलिए
the
हमने
completion
मोहम्मद
of
रसूलुल्लाह की नेमत
the
के साथ
blessings on
तुम्हारे
in
दीन के
the
इकमाल को जोड़ दिया है
person of the Holy
और
Prophet sallallahu alaihi
इससे
wasallam. This was
ज़्यादा
beyond the
मुमकिन
capacities of
नहीं,
other
इसलिए ये
prophets.
आखिरी
So
दीन है।
because of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi
इकमाल
wasallam, we
दीन
have combined these two.
में परफेक्शन का जिक्र आ गया। जब परफेक्शन हो जाए तो परफेक्शन से आगे चीज़ बढ़ नहीं सकती।
These two
ये वो आयत है
things.
जो हज़रत मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह की
So
खातिमियत पर
and this is
भी
where perfection is attained, and
आप
it
क्यों
cannot
आखिरी साहिब
one
तिलियत
cannot go
नबी
further
हैं
than perfection. So this is
और
the final
क्यों आखिरी
religion. So this is what
सरदार
Khat,
नबी हैं जिनकी बात कोई
this
शख्स
is why
टाल
the Holy
नहीं
Prophet
सकता,
sallallahu alaihi wasallam is called Khatam
जो आए
al-Nabiyyin.
लाज़िमन आपकी
Why
गुलामी और
he
आपकी
is
अताअत में आएगा।
the
उसकी वजह यह है कि दो ही बातें हैं
prophet
जिनके नतीजे में ये फैसला हो सकता है।
who after whom
अव्वल
there
ये
will be
कि
no
कम
new law, and
सलाहियतों वाला
whoever
शख्स
comes
को जिसकी
afterwards will
सलाहियतों
definitely
में
come
तरक्की की गुंजाइश।
within
नंबर दो,
the
उसका
limit
दीन
of his law.
अभी अपने
So a
कमाल
person
के
who's
तमाम
who
मदारिज तय
has
न कर
less
सका हो, तो इन दोनों बातों का जवाब मिल गया है।
so
मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह
a
का
person
दीन
who has not yet
अपने
attained
तरक्की
its
के तमाम
height
मदारिज तय
of
कर
his
चुका है
capacity.
और
So
परफेक्शन
both
तक
of these
पहुंच गया है,
things
इसलिए
are
इसके बाद
answered
किसी
in
नई
this, that the
शरीयत
Holy
का
Prophet
कोई
sallallahu
सवाल
alaihi
पैदा नहीं
wasallam's
होता
religion
और
has
किसी आज़ाद नबी का
gone
कोई
through
सवाल नहीं
all of
पैदा
its
होता
stages of
चाहे वो इस
evolution, and
दीन
it
में
has
ही
reached
हो,
its perfection. And
क्योंकि
no new religion,
इत्माम नेमत जो
there's no
मोहम्मद
question of
रसूलुल्लाह
a
पर
new
हुआ है
religion, and no independent
उसके
religion,
बाद जो भी नेमत
no
हासिल
independent
होगी
profit is possible it has to be within this religion, and because after this no one can have independent prophethood. He has to be under the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his religion. So this is born out of the amalgamation of these two subjects, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is the final prophet, and he's the final one in the sense that except him no other independent prophet or no other law or no other word which has descended from Allah and which says something new. There's no question of that. And in this regard, he is Khatam. That is Khatam. The meaning of this is that he who reaches his final status. So somebody who is at its zenith because of its greatness and because of his beauty and because of its goodness. So this meaning of Khatam has got a very deep relation with this particular verse, and this verse is related to two other verses. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa raditu wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam dina. This refers to the word the Khatam al-Nabiyyin verse, that the one whose capacities were more than anyone else and he reached his zenith, that in that person all the greatnesses were perfected. They reached their pinnacle according to the Sharia. It reached perfection, and and so no better Sharia could ever be imagined. And with regards to his being the best, he has reached his final pinnacle. So no person who can receive some new law is possible. So as a result of the combining of these two, the word Khatam is born out of it, which also means to put a stamp of authenticity, and the finality, but with regards to its perfection. But the authenticity is in this sense that the person upon whom this is reached in its final form, only he knows, only he understands what prophethood is, and only he can say that whether somebody has the greatness of prophethood in him or not, who is in accordance with his capacities, who is in accordance with his teachings. So prophethood will be recognized via the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So anyone who is similar to him and who is seen to be under him, then he is not in contradiction to anything the Holy Prophet ﷺ presented. So Huzur is saying that in the seal, there are all kinds of things. Sometimes when you stamp something, you don't see exactly the same. The stamp is sometimes wrong, but if the stamp is completely wrong, then it's not a true reflection of the stamp. So in this regard, you should think that the previous prophets had many of the indications of prophethood, but they did not have all of those that the Holy Prophet ﷺ enjoyed, but none was against him. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ's his recognizing him becomes a recognizing mark of the other prophets. So if anyone is against the Holy Prophet ﷺ's recognizing marks, they are false. And who is in accordance with the Holy Prophet ﷺ, even if he hasn't reached his pinnacle, and he could not reach the pinnacle because it was beyond the capacity of any other person. So, but you can't call him false, because if he attained whatever he attained through walking the path of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, then we can accept him. And the other is, can anyone else benefit from this seal? I was saying that I also wish to tell you it's a side issue. It's an extra discussion, but the word under the word inam, in order to try to make you understand the word inam, so I wish to discuss this and take it further. Some people have started this propaganda that the Holy Prophet sallallahu being a stamp means this. I was saying that English Maulvis are spreading these things in English-speaking areas these days, and in America there are adverts, and also in India, etc., so that people think that they want to show that we also know English, and they think that they can teach these people in English, and they say that the stamp is only given when somebody wants to say something is authentic at the end, and the envelope on which this stamp is put, it is not broken, the seal is not broken. So what is being said is whoever has gone into this envelope has gone inside, and who is to be taken out is going to be taken out. So this is final. If anyone adds to that seal, then he is false, and if anyone tries to take something from it, he is also false. So after making this clear, they say the Holy Prophet ﷺ being Khatam al-Nabiyyin is proven from this, that his stamp was put on all the prophets, and now no one can go into this envelope or get out of it. It is true, and I accept it, I agree. But I would also like to tell you that when the stamp or the seal, it doesn't go itself into the envelope. The seal remains outside. So that prophet stayed outside, who is the giver of the blessings, and the ones upon whom the seal was set, they have gone inside, and nothing can come out of it, and nothing can come out of it or go inside it. So how can you take Jesus out of that? Because there's a stamp of Khatam. So if you should also think about coming out, nothing can come out of it either. So how can you take Jesus out without breaking the seal? Answer me this question. We're saying, as far as the finality of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is concerned, and the question is that this is the other edge, and can the blessing go beyond that? There's another verse which is sitting on the other side, on the other limit, and it speaks of the continuity of the blessing, which says, وَمَا يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. I may have made a mistake in this verse, sorry. So Huzur is saying that the finality has complete, the Holy Prophet ﷺ has complete control over that. But does it mean that he limited the blessing in himself, and he did not leave any path for those blessings to go ahead? This is completely false. He is such a giver of blessings. If you combine this with the other verse, the other subject, then it's an amazing river of knowledge. So if the first previous prophets have a stamp, then all those prophets used to come to give blessings. A prophet is not for curses, for giving curses, and you don't close the envelope and say, thank God it's all finished. So all the prophets are being called blessing, nemat, and the best of the nemat is prophethood. And when the Holy Quran is making the declaration that all of the previous prophets have their blessings have been blocked, and now they cannot return, so how could their blessings go ahead? The one, because of who has stopped their path, He did not do so to stop the blessings. He did so to give a better blessing. And this would not harm mankind in the slightest. So which blessing is it that you used to go and ask at their door that you can't get at the door of the Holy Prophet ﷺ in a much better fashion? Huzur is saying that this verse of Surah Nisa sheds light on this and very clearly. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ. Rasul is not mentioned here. That is, plural is not mentioned. Where faith is concerned, it is to do with all the prophets. But here, in terms of obedience, only the Holy Prophet ﷺ is meant to be obeyed. That the declaration is from now on, the revolutionary declaration is that Allah and this Prophet, whoever obeys them, you only have to obey these two. You don't worry that you have to whether you have to obey Abraham or Moses, or you don't have to worry about that. Just obey this Prophet. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Whoever of you, mankind is addressed that whoever of you is obedient to Allah and this Prophet, on whom the doors to blessings will not be closed. In fact, they will be made more vast. So now there will be no need for obedience to any other prophet. مَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ. Huzur saying that Ulaika it says that these are the only people now on whom Allah shall shower His blessings. But here, Ma'al Lazina Anamallahu, it's not Minal Lazina. And at this, ulama sometimes raise an objection and they say that, look, Allah has said Ma, that is, they'll be with them, but that is, they will not be of the good people, they'll be with those good people. Huzur saying that it becomes very strange if you say they'll be with them, but they will not have the same blessings. Other prophets, obedience of other prophets used to give people blessing, but now they're saying that they'll be given they will be with them, but they will not receive the blessing. They're saying that Ma, I'll tell you why the word Ma is being used, that is with them. The previous eras have finished. There's a stamp on them. So they'll be with them, they'll be like them. So the blessings that were similar to those blessings of the past, they'll be given to these new people. But as far as prophethood is concerned, they will be among them. فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Who attained blessings before, they'll be in the same group, but they will not be of them. They will not be one of them, because being of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's ummah is something else. So they will be of those who accept who will be given prophethood. If Ma means what the ulama regarded to mean that they should not become prophets, they should only be with them, then the Holy Quran rejects this meaning, because Ma'al Lazina Anamallahu alayhim, Allah says that they'll be with those people upon whom the blessings have been given. But in what sense? Minan Nabiyina, of the prophets. Here the word, why is the word Ma not repeated? It's very clear that the meaning of with them is completely false, and it's got nothing to do with this verse. Minan Nabiyina, that is, they will be of the prophets, was Siddiqina, and of the truthful people, was Shuhadai, and of those that bear witness, was Swalihina, and of the Swalihin, that is those who reform. So these are of those people, but a new generation of blessed ones have begun, which has been attained through obedience to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and Allah. وَحَسَنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا, and these people are very good companions. Now, as we're saying here, the subject I wish to present is completely in contradiction to that which the Maulvis are presenting. They say that the Holy Prophet ﷺ's servants, they will not be able to attain the blessings which were granted because of the blessings attained by others, and this is enough for them. This status is enough for them. Here, the companionship of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, his companions is meant, and the compliment is not given to the earlier people, is given to them in the first saying that they will be among them. This now, because there's a new era of those who receive blessings, so you can't say that they will be of them. So this new era of the blessed people, what does this have to do with the old people of old? The Maulvis say, Hasna ulaika rafiqa. When Allah mentions the first people and it says that they are going to be like them, they think this is something very praiseworthy, that they could get that which the previous people could get. I am saying that this is completely, this is not what is meant, that these people are the best of friends. This what the final part of this verse is saying, that the first people are not being praised, the last people are being praised, that they are the best of the friends. So it is referred to this list. So how could the older people be included in this? Allah is saying that these are those people who, because of the obedience to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they attain prophethood and of being truthful and of being the martyrs and the reformers, and these are the people whose the companionship of whom is envious, is to be envied, and the one who attains this is very lucky and very fortunate. And as we were saying that I have told you about this tradition that Moses once expressed a desire to become one and a prophet of the Ummah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and Allah said no, the people of that era will belong to that time, and so their prophets will be of that era. And Moses said, okay, fine, I want to give up the prophethood. I just want to be friends with them, I want to be with them. But Allah said, no, you are now and they are afterwards. The blessing that they will be given will not be given to these people. So the prophets will say that we would rather abandon our prophethood just to be in the people of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But Allah will say that no, this is only for those who are going to come at that time. So the Nema refers first of all to the spiritual blessings, and the final stage of that is prophethood, and the final stage of that is the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And in this way, the completion of the Nema reaches its pinnacle, and Khatam means that before him none was able to derive the same benefit from the Nema as the Holy Prophet ﷺ did. And his blessings will then continue afterwards as a Nema. Huzur is saying that I have told you this subject with reference to Surah Nisa and with reference to Surah Fatiha. We've been told this prayer, and this is the meaning of that. Ihdina Surat al-Mustaqim, O Lord, guide us on the right path, the path of those you showered your blessings upon. And because the Holy Prophet ﷺ's Ummah's servants will be doing this prayer, therefore the word Anamta, their eyes will not be upon those who are previous in the previous people. Their eyes will be at the head of that caravan, who is the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And in this regard also, he is the final one. He is the first one who is walking the most further away, and none is going ahead of him. So we are praying that we pray that Allah let us walk the paths of those people the head of whom, the one who walked the furthest, the first was the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and behind him there's a unlimited line of blessings, and that caravan comes to an end, and then the Prophet, a time in terms of the time chronologically, then we say that make us among him. It is the people who, when the caravan, according to I was saying that when this caravan is going, and if you want to be a part of that caravan, then this prayer teaches you that you can walk along that caravan, along the path of that caravan. So you pray to God that you should become included with those people. So it's actually the subject of Yuti Allah, which applies here. If not that much, then there are others who have attained blessing as well. Min an-nabiyina wa siddiqina wa shuhada'i wa salihin. Make us at least some of something. Don't keep us less than the stage of the reformers. If you keep us below that stage, then there is danger incumbent. So beneath Salihin, all the misfortunate people are included. Maghdub alayhim and waladhdallin, those have gone astray and who have incurred wrath. And so those people who, despite the fact that they attained the correct path, they abandoned it and got lost. So the opposite of Nema is to have incurred wrath. But then what does Fazl mean? What is Fazl related to? These spiritual blessings have to do with it has to do with this one struggle. So I liked what this commentator said. This is why I presented it to you, that Nema has to do with our actions, and with that there's an expected blessing, sorry, the expected reward, but not just as much as our efforts are. And if there is more, then it's called Fadl. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ has mentioned his own statuses, he has spoken of it as being a Fadl, that his attainment of the pinnacle of the blessings is, and it was not because of him, it was because of Allah's Fadl, and that is what took it to its beyond the limits that anyone else attained. So this completion of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's blessing was due to the completion that Allah gave it. So in this word, so Zuri is saying, I'll return to this verse later on. Perhaps it was verse 172.
وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ.
يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَضْلٍ.
वो बहुत खुश हो रहे हैं.
وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What is the subject being described here? They are very happy. يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ has the meaning of expectation of happiness as well as happiness, and being very happy, jubilant, because of the style of the grammar, they are all included in this. بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَضْلٍ, they rejoice at the favor of Allah and His bounty. And more than that, it will not just be, Allah will not just give them those rewards, He'll give them more than that. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and this is in any case absolutely certain that Allah suffers not the reward of the believers to be lost. So Allah is saying that how could people think that their the reward should be wasted? the one who gives much more than one's just reward is present, and the people have seen this happening in their in themselves. This has been proven to them. Here Huzur is saying that the subject of martyrdom and of the battles of the Holy Prophet ﷺ says something which is actually a great eulogy to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He says, he compares martyrdom in this verse to the biblical verse in Revelation, which is 6:2. The book of John, which is the Revelation, in that mostly or almost all of it is about the Holy Prophet ﷺ with reference to Surah Fatiha, and that subject, whatever Allah taught him about the subject, he is trying to explain that, and it is called Revelation. Aale has attention been drawn towards this, that where it is mentioned about the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his companion. It reminds him of this verse of Revelation. Then I watched as the Lamb broke the first of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come!" And there before my eyes was a white horse, and his rider held a bow. He was given a crown, and he rode forth, conquering and to conquer. That is the Holy Prophet is about the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It prophesies as he's seeing the similarity with this verse. He's saying that there was a prophecy in Revelation, and Huzur is saying it is strange that Aale has not made it clear, but he has mentioned this thought that has written in his heart. So then I watched as the lamb broke the first of the 7 seals. Huzur saying the lamb here refers to a lamb, but it is used for the animal, which is, he was shown that in his vision, and then he saw that he broke the first of the 7 seals, and he heard one of the 4 creatures, and the strange creatures as he saw of them, he heard the voice of one of them like thunder. It was a great voice. And what was that? It was, "Come!" And there before my eyes was a white horse.
And its rider held a bow.
The voice invited him, and a white horse came before his eyes, and his rider held a bow. And the one who was reading it had a bow in his hand. He was given a crown. He was given sovereignty, and the crown was placed on his head, and he rode forth conquering and to conquer. And the rider kept going forward, advancing forward. Why? Conquering lands, and in order to conquer them in the future. That is, at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the process of conquering is something that is a continuous process, which began at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and continued afterwards. So this is Aale has indicated towards this verse of Revelation, which really does have something to do with this verse. Now let us turn towards Mir Ahmad Ali Sahib, who was saying, after saying such nice things, hearing such nice things, I don't feel like going towards him, but we are compelled. He's saying this verse establishes beyond all doubt the mortality of those who laid down their lives in the way of God. Up to this point is fine. Then He says, the Ahmadi commentator has quietly passed over this verse without any interpretation, for the meaning is too obvious and plain to bear any figurative interpretation. As I have spoken about this before. Yesterday I gave a reference. I just want to remind you as to where he has said this, which verse he has said this about. This is about verse 157 to 172. He has combined them together and he has given them the same title. He discussed them with the same title. This is where the hypocrites and the truthful ones were distinguished, and all the things I have told you, all the things that he says, the association with that, but I was just telling you what he's saying about Ahmadis. Now he's saying that one of their Maulvis have said, Maulvi Farman Ali, that they are alleging against us that we ask our dead. He's saying this is something which is absolutely okay, and the dead come and go between among us, and we can talk to them, we can communicate with them. And Mir Ahmad Ali says about the same thing. The soul of the departed one somehow exists and can communicate and can be communicated with by us and can establish their identity beyond all reasonable doubt. Here, Hazur is saying that let me make it clear that Jamaat Ahmadiyya is not against this, that there can be a communication established with the souls, but it is not possible to have this with the way they are at the moment, and it doesn't mean that the souls come down from the dimensions in which they are living and come to our temporary dimension, and they become like us. This is not correct. And apart from other proofs, in the present I said this, that those souls that people see, they see them with the body, and this is what the Prophet ﷺ said, that I saw with my own eyes, meaning that it was something which could be seen, and he was exactly as we see with our eyes, but this, the Prophet ﷺ makes it very clear that those souls which depart from us, they don't remain the way, their faces don't remain the way that the way they were. So when the Prophet ﷺ says that he saw with his own eye, it doesn't mean that the Holy when he saw the Holy Prophet ﷺ, or he saw some other visions, so it wasn't that they had risen with the same in the same body. It does not mean that at all. All it means is that when they are seen in such a way that it is as if we are seeing them with our physical eyes, and by being shown in that way proves that they are not them, they are someone else, because their faces are not as we see them. So if we see them in the same body, it means that it's not them. I'm trying to make you understand this so that Ahmadis can understand, cannot misunderstand. This is all the Prophet ﷺ means, and other Prophet ﷺ's writings shed light on this. Mir Sahib is not saying this, he is speaking about parapsychological experiences, and he thinks that souls can be called upon, and he believes, and he is trying to make tell everyone that from science as well it has been proven, the spiritualists, they call the souls and they come. So why are they telling us that we are being idol worshippers, whereas this is a well-known fact? Then it is quite possible for our holy man to come. So when this has been spread, if this has been spread so much, this subject, then what about the other holy men? Why can't they come, and why does he not show his discuss his own experience, that he himself has spoken to Hazrat Imam Hussain or to Hazrat Ali Zanhu. He doesn't indicate towards this at all. When the Prophet ﷺ says something like this, he speaks about those experiences. He explains it very clearly that this is what I saw, this, etc. So what he is saying is things that he has only heard, and their inclination is towards those spiritualists, towards their ideas. As I was saying that I have told you this story once before as well, when the Muslim Azan who came here in 1924, there was an association. He was informed about a club, an association, and he took time and said to them that I wish to call someone as well. And the incident that Mir Sahib is saying, from that it proves that who comes is exactly like the person who has died. And now listen to what the Muslim Azan whose experience was. So there was a lady who said that we are ready. Whose soul do you want to call? And the Prophet, the second Khalifa, said that call the Holy Prophet ﷺ's soul. Then after a little while, the woman said that he is here, Nauz Billah. So the Muslim Adhan who said that, oh Prophet of Allah, if it is you, then please recite Surah Fatiha. Oh, this is all I want from you. And the answer was that, I'm sorry, I don't know it. We were saying that this is the state of Mir Sahib's souls. Even if they come, what's the point? So this is just rubbish, and doesn't amount to anything. The visions have leave behind some proofs of their truth, and the visions are they are visions, but they are not pointless. They have distinguishing characteristics and ordinary experiences that people experience. So where the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned about these things, there are such blessings are mentioned, which the prophecies of which were given to him, and those blessings were emanated from the Prophet ﷺ, and the world saw it. So there are practical proofs of what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. Huzur Singh is worth researching. That was everyone that saw someone, was all those faces the same? If someone goes to a police artist and he starts telling him that what we saw was this, then those people who say the same person and they say that we saw it, the police artist will make so many different faces according to their statements that will be no way of recognizing them. So all of these things are such which should be thought about with intelligence. The souls, one does have a relationship, communication with the soul, but in such a way that a communication system which we have no idea about, and in that the soul does not abandon the place where it's at, but the communication system is established by Allah through some system, and Allah proves that whatever has been told to the soul is reaching it, and it's coming back, and whatever he's saying is heard by that holy man. But there should be proof. So only such messages, only when a soul gives a message which people do not know about, if they tell us about something like that and the situation afterwards proves it, then we can accept that it is true. Such matters are also found in books of parapsychology, that a soul said something and it was proven to be true. And such incidents, as far as I have studied, they have to do with such people where there is a cry of anxiety of human nature, which is for those people who have a danger incumbent upon them, and then for Allah to take their call to a certain place is a blessing of Allah. That the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned in the book Haqiqatul Wahi that the revelation from Allah is not essential that it is only given to the good person. So as an example, when Allah's when Allah's blessings are showered, then some other people feel the shower as well, who feel a bit of it, so that other people can believe in it as well. All this research in parapsychology, Hazur is translating it into Urdu. Such experiences, parapsychology means such experiences which are not, which ordinary science cannot explain. All such experiences are called parapsychological or paranormal. So that means that the normal psychology or the normal scientific experiences that we have, they are outside that. They cannot be recognized with physics, chemistry, etc. These are all such experiences in which very clearly there are proofs of this fact, and people have noted that somebody is saying the truth, and they saying that this is going to happen, and that is exactly what comes to pass. And there's a prophetess called Wonga. She's called a prophetess, and Hazur says she was in Bulgaria, and that woman is still alive. Hazur is saying that once Hazur met the ambassador there, and Hazur said, I told him that, tell me, I wish to see her, and I wish to know about her experiences. And he said that it is the policy of our government that we have controlled meetings, and we do not encourage that other people from outside should meet her. But if you ever come, then if you ever come, I can organize a meeting. Hazur said, I told them that I don't want controlled meetings. I want to be able to speak to her freely. So such people are still present. The science knows that they have. They speak of a soul descending upon them, or through some other method they are told, given some news which then comes true. So it is not impossible for such things to happen. And this has to do with the same subject, that Allah, in order to make people believe in His blessings, He does this, that when such people who present such holy people say that they have experienced such and such, then other people are also shown such experiences, so that they can confirm that such experiences do exist.
الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح للذين أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم.
الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح
فاخشوهم فزادهم
للذين أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم. الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. As to those who answered the call of Allah, استجابوا لله والرسول, and the messenger, despite the fact that they had received an injury, بعد ما أصابهم, بعد means despite this or after this, after they received an injury, للذين أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم. Such of them as do good deeds, as do good and act righteously, shall have a great reward. للذين أحسنوا منهم, does not mean
उलमाए तफसीर
that
इसको
those
बयानिया
who
कहते हैं।
responded, they are not all
मुराद ये है कि
good.
उन्हीं की तशरीह, उन्हीं की मज़ीद तारीफ और तौसीफ फरमाई
The ulama of
कि
commentaries,
वो लोग ऐसे हैं।
they say that this
इसलिए मिन यहाँ तखसीस का
there
मिन नहीं कि
it is
सिर्फ
there
वो लोग
further being
अच्छे
appreciated
हैं जिनका
that
हमने
these
जिक्र किया,
people
जिनको
are
खुदा सजा
are
देगा,
they like this. So
जो
here
उनमें से
min
एहसान करने वाले
doesn't
हैं,
mean only those people
बल्कि
are
मुराद ये
good
कि सारे हैं
whom we have
जो एहसान
mentioned,
करने
who
वाले
will
हैं।
be
ये
given
सारे हैं
reward by
जिनकी तकवा
Allah,
की अल्लाह गवाही
those
देता
of
है,
whom
वरना वो
who
ऐसी
show
हालत
favor.
में
It means that all
अल्लाह
of
और
them
उसके रसूल के
are
दावत पर
those who
इसका लबैक नहीं कह
show
सकते।
favor, and Allah
अल्लज़ीना फिर
bears
एक और
witness to
आयत है
their
इसके मान बाद
righteousness.
अल्लज़ीना क़ाला लहुम
Otherwise,
नासो
they
क़ाला
would not
लहुमुन
have
नासो,
responded to the call of Allah
ये
and
वही
His
लोग हैं
Prophet. Then there's
जिनको
another verse
लोगों ने
straight
कहा
after this.
इन्न नासा क़द जमअ लकुम, कि तुम्हारे लिए
الذين
लोग
قال
इकट्ठे
لهم
हो गए हैं
الناس
तुम्हारे
إن
खिलाफ,
الناس قد جمعوا
फ़ख़्शाहुम,
لكم.
बस
These
उनसे
are
डरो,
those are to whom
फ़ज़ादहुम
men said,
ईमाना, तो डरने की बजाय
people have
इस
mustered
बात ने
against you,
उनके ईमान को और भी
فخشوهم,
तक़वीर दे दी।
therefore fear them,
वक़ालू
فزادهم
हस्बुनल्लाहु व
إيمانا.
निअमल वकील, और उन्होंने कहा
But not
अल्लाह
instead
हमें
of
काफ़ी है और
being
बहुत ही
afraid, this
अच्छा
only increased their faith.
निगरान
وقالوا
और
حسبنا الله
ऐसा है
ونعم الوكيل.
कि जिसके सुपुर्द अपने
And they
मामला
said,
कर दिए जाए।
sufficient for us is Allah, and an
वकील
excellent
इसको कहते हैं
guardian
जिसके
is
सुपुर्द
He.
अपना मामला कर दिया जाए। तो आजकल भी वकालत यही माने हैं। आले इमरान आयात
Wakil is
176
someone
और
in whose
174।
hand you put your trust. So this is what being an advocate means today as well. These are verses
अल जवाब
of Surah Aale-Imraan,
असल माना
verses
मखलूक़ात अदालत
173
के
and
नज़दीक
174.
कूदर ज़मीन को तय करने के हैं, फिर हर किस्म की मुसाफत तय करने पर भी बोला
Al-Jawab
जाता
was
है।
real meaning according to
ये लफ्ज़
Mufradat
कूदर जो
Raghib
है ये
is
फारसी लफ्ज़ है,
to
फारसी
go
अंग्रेज़ी मिक्स
over
हुए
a particular
इसका
kind of land,
तर्जुमा है
and to any kind of
the
journey
skirt
is,
of a mountain or the
it
skirt of a
depends.
mountain।
Huzur is saying
स्कर्ट
that
है
the Kudur
कि एक पहाड़ के
earth,
गिर्द
it
जो पहाड़ी
is a
सिलसिले की
Farsi
एक
word,
दीवार
and
की
it
बनी
means the skirt of a
है, स्कर्ट
mountain,
कह सकते हैं,
that
जो
the
फैली है, उस इलाके उस जगह को कूदर कहते हैं।
there's
तो
like a wall
ऐसी बुलंद जगह
around
जो पहाड़ का
a
दामन हो,
a series of
उसकी मुसाफत को
mountains.
बिलखुसूस
So such a highest place
अल जॉब कहा जाता है,
which is at the bottom
और
of a
हर किस्म की मुसाफत के लिए भी ये लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल होता है।
mountain. When someone
अल
travels
जायबा तो
along it, is
फैलने
called
वाली खबर को
al-job,
भी कहते हैं।
and
अल
all kinds
इस्तिजाबा
of
का माने है
journeys. For all
इजाबत,
kinds of journeys, also
यानी
this word
बात को
is
कबूल कर
used.
लेना,
Al-jaibatu is
और
refers to
अल्लाह ताला
something that
इन्हीं
spreads
इसी
as well.
जिन्होंने
Istijaba
फरमाता है
means
इस्तजीबू
ijabat.
लिल्लाहि व लिर्रसूल,
It is to accept something,
अल्लाह और रसूल की बात को कबूल
and
कर
in
लिया
this
करो
in this way
जब वो
Allah
तुम्हें बुलाता
says,
है।
Istajibu
इसका
lillahi wa
ताल्लुक जॉब
rasule.
से क्या है, ये
Allah
है अहम बात।
accept what Allah and
दरअसल
His Prophet
ऐसी
says
बात को
when He
कबूल
calls you.
करना जिस
This,
पर
what does
तबीयत
this have
खुद
to do
माइल
with
हो,
job?
इस्तिजाबत नहीं
This is
कहलाता,
an important thing.
क्योंकि वो
The
इंसान
fact of
अपने
the matter
नफ्सी
is
तमन्ना
to
और
accept
ख्वाहिश और
something
आसानी के साथ
which
और
one
खुद
was inclined,
करने पर तैयार
one
बैठा
which
होता है।
towards which one is inclined oneself,
ऐसी बात कबूल
cannot
करना
be
जिसमें कुछ
called
मेहनत का दखल
this,
हो
because a
और
person
निस्बतन
is
बुलंदियों की तरफ बुलाने वाला
ready
हो,
to accept something of their
उसके
own
लिए लफ्ज़ इस्तिजाबत इस्तेमाल होता है,
accord,
वरना ये काबिल
but to
तारीफ नहीं
accept
है।
something which
बस जॉब के साथ इसका ये
requires a
ताल्लुक
bit of
मालूम होता
struggle
है कि
and a
वहाँ
bit of
पहाड़ी सिलसिलों के
climbing
इर्द
up
गिर्द
to a
जो
height.
सिलसिले
For
फैले
that,
हुए
the
हैं,
word
उन तक
astijab
पहुँचना भी
is
मेहनत
used.
चाहता
Otherwise,
है,
it's not worthy of being
और
praised.
मुराद ये
So,
भी बन
job
जाती
probably
है कि
means
बुलाने
that
वाला अच्छी चीज़ की
the
तरफ बुलाए,
the high
जिसकी
elevated
राह में
place
कुछ मुश्किलात भी
around a
जायज़ हो,
mountain. To get there,
तो
it
उसके
requires a struggle,
बुलाने पर जो शख्स कहता है
and
मैं हाजिर हूँ,
also if the
उसके
caller
लिए
is
ये
calling
लफ्ज़
towards
इस्तेमाल होता
something
है
good,
इस्तिजाबा।
which has some difficulties in its path. So when that person calls and one
और
says,
इस्तिजाबा का
I'm
माना इसके
present,
बरक्स
I'm coming, then this word
कबूलियत दुआ
istijaba
भी है।
is used.
एक तरफ बंदा इस्तिजाबत करता है और दूसरी तरफ
And
अल्लाह
istijaba,
उस
the
इस्तिजाबत
translation
का
of
जवाब
this is
इस्तिजाबत
all,
की सूरत में
sorry, the
देता है,
other meaning is
उसे
also
कबूल फरमा
the
लेता है,
acceptance of prayer.
उसकी बातें मान
On the
जाता है।
one hand, man calls and then
और
Allah
पहले मजमून के साथ
accepts,
इसका ताल्लुक फिर ये बन
and
सकता है
Allah
कि अल्लाह ताला
listens to
उसे
the
वो
person,
मरातिब
Allah
अता
listens
कर
to his
देता है
call. his prayer,
जिनका बुलंदियों से ताल्लुक है,
and then his relationship with the first
वो चीज़ें अपने फजल से अता
verse
कर
would be that
देता है, खा वो उन तक खुद पहुँचने की ताकत रखता हो या
Allah
ना।
grants him the heights.
जाब का मतलब चीरना है,
Those
फाड़ना।
things are given to him.
जैब इसीलिए
Whether he has the capacity to
सुराख को
reach
कहते हैं
those
जिसके
heights
लिए आप
by
बीच में
himself or not.
हाथ डाल सकते हैं,
Jab
अंदर
means
चीज़ें
to
रखते हैं।
tear something.
जैब
This
गिरेबान
is
को भी
why
कहते हैं, जहाँ से
the word jab is
ये
used.
तमीज़ फाड़ी
Jab is
जाती है
used for
अमदन,
such a
ताकि उसमें
hole
सब दाखिल
through
किया
which
जा
you
सके।
can insert your hand.
तो जाब का
And
माना
jab is
चीरना
also
फाड़ना है,
used for
और इन मानों में भी
the
कुरान
top
करीम ने लफ्ज़ जाब को
of
इस्तेमाल किया है,
your shirt, so that
जैसे कि
when
फरमाया
there is a hole is made in it, so that one can insert one's head in
वो
it.
समूद लज़ीना जाबु
And
सफ़रा
this has
बिलवान,
been used in the Holy Quran when
और
Allah
समूद
says,
यानी वो लोग जिन्होंने वादी में
وَثَمُودَ
चट्टानों को
الَّذِينَ
चीर दिया
جَابُوا
और
الصَّخْرَ
चट्टानें चीर
بِالْوَادِ.
कर अपने लिए
And
मकान वगैरह
Thamud,
बनाए।
those
यानी
people
पहाड़ी कौमें जो चट्टानें चीर कर वहाँ अपने
who cut
मस्कन
through
बनाती थी।
rocks, and they made homes for themselves. So
मुजीब
those
कहते हैं
mountainous
सवाल को पूरा करने
areas,
वाला।
people
वलक़द
who
नादाना
cut
नूहुन
through
फ़लनिअमल
rocks to make
मुजीबून,
homes for themselves.
नूह ने जब हमें पुकारा
Mujib is the
फ़निअमल
one who
मुजीबून,
responds to
हम
the
क्या ही
a
अच्छा जवाब देने
question
वाले हैं।
or a. When Allah says in the Holy Quran
अब आए
that
इस आयत पर
when
अल्लज़ीना
Noah called
इस्तजाबु
us for
लिल्लाहि
Ni'mal
व रसूलिhi
Mujibun,
मिन बाद मा
how well
असाबहुमुल
do we
क़र्ह।
answer?
लेकिन इससे पहले क़रहा की बहस हो जाए। दो लफ्ज़ मिलते हैं
Now it
मिलते
has come to
जुलते,
this verse,
एक
Allazina
क़रहा और एक क़ुर्ह। अब
istajabu
क़रहा कहते हैं
lillahi wa
बैरूनी ज़ख्म
rasulih.
को,
Huzur is saying that
जो
first
इंसान
let
के
us
जिस्म पर
go to the
लगाया
word
जाए,
qarha. One
और
is
क़ुर्ह
qarha.
कहते
There are
हैं
two
उस
words,
अंदरूनी ज़ख्म
qarha
को
and qurh. Al
जो उस
qarha
ज़ख्म के
is an
नतीजे में
external
या
injury,
वैसे ही किसी तकलीफ के
which
नतीजे में
is
दिल पर लग जाए।
when somebody
तो
gets hurt,
उर्दू
and
में तो हम
qurhu is that
दिल
internal
का ज़ख्म हो या बाहर का
injury,
ज़ख्म हो,
which
उसके
is
लिए
as a
एक ही
result
लफ्ज़
of
इस्तेमाल,
that
अलग अलग लफ्ज़
injury,
इस्तेमाल
or
नहीं करते, एक ही ज़ख्म हर जगह
to
तलाश
some
नहीं
other
है।
method.
अरबी चूँकि बहुत
On
ही
the heart, in
लतीफ़
Urdu we have the
ज़ुबान है
same
और
word.
इल्हामी ज़ुबान है,
We do
इसलिए
not
इसमें
use
हैरत
separate
अंगेज़
words for an
फ़र्क
injury,
मिलते हैं।
internal injury
तो
and
क़रहा
external
उस ज़ख्म
injury,
को
but
कहते हैं जो
because the
बाहर से लगे,
Arabic language is
और क़ुरहुन
a
उस
revealed
ज़ख्म की
language and is
तकलीफ़ को
extremely
कहते हैं।
exquisite, so you see
और
amazing
हर
differences
ऐसे
in it.
दुख को
So
जो जिस्म
qarha
के अंदर
is
हो,
the
जिसका दिल से और एहसास से
the
ताल्लुक़ हो, और
injury
वो
that
अगर हमेशा
comes
जारी
from
रहेगा तो लफ्ज़
outside,
क़ुरहुन भी
and
कहा
qurhun
जाएगा
is
उसको
the
बोले।
pain that one feels, and any pain that has to do with the heart, then if it always
इस
continues,
आयत
then
में
it will still be
आयत में
called
अल्लाह फरमाता है
qurhun.
यमसस्कुम करहुन फ़क़द मस्सल कौम करहुन, तुम्हें अगर ज़ख्म पहुंचा है तो कद
In
मस्सल
this
कौम
verse,
करहुन, एक और कौम, उस
Allah
कौम को
says,
भी जो तुम्हारे
إِنِّي
मुखालिफ है,
أَصَبْتُ
को ज़ख्म पहुंच
قَرْهُمْ
चुका
فَقَدْ
है,
مَسَّ
मिसलहु
الْقَوْمُ
एक
قَرْهٌ.
जैसा।
If you have been
अब
hurt,
है
then another
इख्शौहुम,
people who is
खशिया का
against you is
माना
also received
अव्वल है
a
अंदेशा,
injury. This is
किसी चीज़
exactly
का
which is
अंदेशा
very
होना,
similar.
और
Now the
दूसरा
word
माना है
is
खतरा,
ikhshawhum.
खतरा
We
और
should come to.
खतरा
It
खौफ,
means,
अंदेशा और खतरे
firstly,
को
it
तो वजह
means
से
to
मैंने
be to have the danger of
किसी चीज़
something,
से डर जाना।
and the other meaning is that
वहाँ
of
अंदेशे की बहस नहीं होती, मगर उसके
fear,
पस मंज़र में अंदेशा काम कर रहा होता है।
to be afraid of
दरअसल
something.
है अंदेशा ही, लेकिन
And there it is not a
लोगों ने इसको
question
तक़सीम
of
करके बताया।
possibility,
किसी चीज़
but the
से
possibility
के
of
मुतल्लिक़ अगर
danger is
आपको ये
working
अंदेशा हो
behind it, but it's actually
कि वो हो ना जाए,
a
उसके लिए
danger.
भी लफ्ज़
So
खशी इस्तेमाल होता है,
about, if you say
और
about,
हो जाए उसके लिए भी लफ्ज़ खशी
who
इस्तेमाल
if
होता है।
you have the
मगर अगर
if you
ऐसा
think that
अंदेशा हो
something
जिसमें
may not
फिर ये
happen,
खौफ हो
or you do not want it to
कि कहीं
happen,
हो ना
the
जाए,
word khashi is used, and if it does happen, then it's
वो
called khashi as well.
अंदेशों में ज़्यादा
But if
दाखिल होगी बात।
it is a danger
अपने
about
प्यारों
which
को
you
कोई
think
हादसा ना पहुंच
that
जाए,
it may not
कहीं ये
happen,
ना हो जाए, कहीं वो ना हो जाए,
then
और
that is
एक है
more in
ये डर के हो जाएगा,
that is also
कहीं हो
that
ना
is
जाए में
included
तमन्ना है
in
कि
this word, I think Huzur said.
ना हो,
And if you are
लेकिन
afraid that
अपने
something
प्यारों के
may not
मुतल्लिक़
happen
एक
to your
बात के
beloved
मुतल्लिक़ खतरा
ones,
है कि वो ना हो,
so there is a
उसका दूसरी
wish
तरफ दूसरी बात
that
कहा
it
जाता
shouldn't
है।
happen, but
एक खशिया इस बात
about
से
your
है कि मैं
loved
चाहता हूँ कि
ones,
बात हो,
there is a danger, and you
मगर
don't
डर है
want
कि
it
शायद
to.
ना हो,
Sorry, Huzur is saying that
वो
I
इसके
wanted to
बरक्स
say
है।
something else.
वो भी अंदेशा है
There
मगर
is
और किस्म का,
sometimes one is saying
और
one
एक
wishes that
अंदेशा
something
है
should
अपनी
happen, but
ज़ात
one is
से मुतल्लिक़
afraid that
कि
it
किसी
might not
आदमी से
happen,
इंसान डर जाए कि मुझे वो
and that is
मारेगा,
also an expectation,
इसलिए
a
उस डर
danger, but
को
it's a different kind.
अहले लुगत ने
Another
अलग करके
is
बयान किया
about
है,
oneself
उसका
when
नाम
you are
डर और
afraid of
खौफ रखते हैं,
someone and you think that
उसकी अलग
person is
मिसालें
going to
देते हैं।
beat you, to beat you.
जैसा कि
So such
इसी
a
मिसाल में
pain
कुरान करीम की आयत
is
अल्लामा
called fear, and they are
जावेद ने पेश
given, people
फरमाई
give
है
it a different kind of
वइन्न
meaning.
मिनहा लमा यहबितु मिन
So in this
खश्यतिल्लाह
verse,
उनमें से ऐसी भी हैं जो
Allama
अल्लाह की
Raghib has
खशियत से
presented
खौफ से
وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَّا يَهْبِطُ مِنْ
ज़मीन पे जा
خَشْيَةِ
पड़ते हैं
اللَّهِ,
और
that
रज़ा बरंदे भी
among them there
ईमान
are
में इस्तेमाल
some
रखने वाला वजह
who,
नहीं होता है
with the
यहाँ
fear of
अल्लाह का
Allah,
खौफ
they fall
ये
upon the
अमूमी
earth,
खौफ है यहाँ खुदा
and
की नाराज़गी
whatever
का
the,
खौफ है
and the
और
subject
या
that,
उसकी हैबत के लिए भी
whatever
लफ्ज़
other
खौफ का
subject
इस्तेमाल होता
is,
है
it mentions and it starts.
लेकिन दूसरी
So this
आयत जो
is,
मैं पहले
it's a
बयान कर रहा
general,
हूँ मज़मून
it's a
उनमें
fear
इमाम
of
राग़िब ये पेश
incurring
करते हैं
the
वखशीना युरहिक़हुमा
displeasure of Allah, and
तुग़यानुन व
also in
कुफ़्रा
the awe of Allah.
और
But the other
हम
subject
इस
which
बात का हमें
I've
खौफ था
presented in this
अंदेशा था
about that,
कि
Imam
इन
Razik says,
दोनों को
Imam Razi
तुग़यानुन व
says
कुफ़्रा
that
यानी वो तुग़यान में
we were
तो
afraid
नाफरमानी
of
में
this, that
या हद से गुजरने में
these two,
तुग़यान असल में तो हद से गुजर जाने को कहते हैं और
that
नाफरमानी के
is
लिए भी
that
इस्तेमाल हो
they
जाता है
in disobedience
वकुफ़रन
or
और
in
इनकार
transgressing the bounds.
कहीं वो
Tughyan is
इन
also
दोनों को
refers to go beyond
तुग़यान और कुफ़्र
bounds,
में
and also
आ
for
गए
disobedience
इसमें
or
वो मुब्तला ना
kufran,
हो जाए
and in their disbelief,
फिर
that
सूरह
lest they,
तोहा से ये आयत पेश की गई है
that
इन्नी खशीतु अन तक़ूल
lest
फ़र्रक़्ता
this
बैन बनी
overtake them,
इसराईला
with disbelief
वलम
and
तरक़ुब
disobedience
क़ौली
overtake them, and this is from
यहाँ
Surah
हज़रत
Taha.
हारून ने जो हज़रत मूसा के
إني
सामने उज़र
خشيت
पेश
أن
किया है
تقول
वो
فرقت
लफ्ज़ खशी से
بين
पेश
بني
फरमाया
إسرائيل ولم
वो
تقل
कहते हैं
قولي.
मुझे ये अंदेशा था
Here Hazrat Harun
कि तू कहीं ये ना
presented
मुझे
the
आके
excuse
कह दे
before Musa
कि
al-Islam, and
तूने
he
मेरे
has
और
presented
मेरी
it with
कौम
the
के
word
दरमियान
khashi.
में
He
तफरीका
says
डाल दिया
that I was afraid
यानी मैं ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा
that you
सख्ती कर
may
जाता
come back and tell
और
me
कौम
that
बागी
you
होकर हट
have
जाती यानी यहाँ
made
तक पहुँची हुई थी
a difference between me
मेरे
and
लिए
my
इसके सिवा
people.
चारा नहीं था
That is, that if I had
मुझे
been
डर
too
था कि अगर
harsh
मैंने
and
तवक्को से बढ़कर
my
जो इन
people
पर
had
तवक्को
gone
की जा सकती है
away,
इन पर
that
दबाव
they were,
डाला
that
तो ये
this is how far
फिर
they
तुझे
had
भी छोड़
gone.
देंगे
Then
मुझे भी
he
छोड़
had
देंगे
nothing to do, he could not do
इसलिए इस
anything.
खौफ से मैं खामोश रहा
But
इंतज़ार करता रहा
this,
कि तू
that
आए
if he's
तो
felt
खुद
that if he
संभाल ले
put too much pressure on his
तुम्हारा
people,
खशिया में
then they will leave
ये
you
सारे
and
मज़मून पाए
me.
जाते हैं
That is the
जिनसे मैंने
children of
तफ़सील में
Israel. So because of this, I kept quiet, and I thought
हस्बुना
that when you come back, you
असल
will
में
take
इसका
care of them
ताल्लुक़ हिसाब
yourself.
से
So
है
all of these subjects are found in the word
इसका जो
khashya, which I have
मुहावरा
mentioned.
माना है वो है हमें हमारे लिए
Hasbuna.
काफ़ी है
Actually, this is refers
और
to accounting,
इन्हीं मानों
taking
में कुरान करीम में
account,
मुख्तलिफ जगह इस्तेमाल हुआ है
and
हस्ब लेकिन
this.
हिसाबी अंदाजे से
If used
हिसाब
in a
लगा के
phrase, it
किसी
means
चीज़ का अंदाज़ा
is
करना
sufficient for us, and it is also,
जिसे
it is
अरबा
used
लगाना
in
कहते हैं
word in the Holy Quran,
उसको भी
but
हस्ब के लिए
with
उस मजमून
to
को भी लफ्ज़ हस्ब
to
बयान फरमाता है बयान
um,
करता है
to make
हासिबुन
an
व कफ़ा बिना हासिबीन हिसाब लेने वाला
to prejudge something is also hasib.
और हिसाब से
Hasibun
जो
wa kafa
रोज़
bina
निज़ा
hasibin.
सवाल जवाब होगा उसके लिए भी
One who
हिसाब
takes
का लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल हुआ है
account
वह हुआ और
is
इस
meant,
दुनिया में भी
and
रोज़ निज़ा तो इस्तेमाल हुआ है दुनिया
the
में भी खुदा
the
ताला
day
बाज़
of
दफ़ा किसी
resurrection.
कौम के मुतालिक एक
For that also the word
जारी फैसला
hisab is
फरमा
used,
देता
and
है
also in this world,
तो उसके मुतालिक अल्लाह ताला
this
फरमाता है वो हुआ सरीउल
Allah
हिसाब
sometimes
जब फैसला कर ले तो मरने के बाद का इंतज़ार
makes a
नहीं करेगा
decision of
ये दुनिया में
a
भी
warning
फैसले
or
सुना दिया करता है
punishment about someone, a people,
फिर
and then Allah
यरज़ुक़ु मन
says
यशाअ
about that,
बगैर
huwa
हिसाब
sari'ul hisab, that
जिसको
he will
चाहता
not
है बगैर
wait
हिसाब के रिज़्क़
to
देता
the
है
day till the day of
गिन गिन
judgment.
के नहीं फिर देता जितना चाहे
Allah
जब चाहे
Allah
अता
can
फरमाता
punish in this world as well, and then yarzuqu man tasha bighair
और
hisab, Allah can give
यरज़ुक़ुहु मिन
whomsoever He
हैसु ला
pleases
यहतसिब
without
यहाँ हिसाब
any
वाला मज़मून खुलकर भी इसमें शामिल होगा
account. He can
वो
give as
इस तरह भी
he
ऐसी
can
जगह से भी
he
अता
can
करता है
give a lot, and
जहाँ
yarzuqhu
उसका
min
हिसाब
hasu la
पहुँच नहीं सकता
yahtasib. Here it becomes even
एक
clearer,
इंसान जब
the
अपने
word hisab, that he
मुस्तक़बिल की
also
आमद के
gives
मुतालिक
from
गौर करता है
places where
या
his
अपने मुतालिक ये
account
सोचता है
cannot
कि शायद
reach.
यहाँ से मुझे
That
फ़ायदा
is,
पहुँचे वहाँ पहुँच
that
जाए इन सब का
when
ताल्लुक़
we
हिसाब से है
sometimes when we try to
तमाम
judge
मारूफ
what
मालूम
we are going to
चीज़ें
earn in the
उसके
future,
कंप्यूटर
and we
ज़हनी
think
कंप्यूटर
that
में दाखिल
maybe
हो जाती हैं
perhaps I may
मतलब
earn
इससे
from
शायद
here
ये
or from
फ़ायदा पहुँच
there.
जाए इससे ये
All
फ़ायदा
of that
फ़ायदा
has to
पहुँच
do
जाए
with
इससे ये फ़ायदा
accounting.
पहुँच जाए
So
ये सब कुछ हासिल हो
those
जाए तो बड़ी सख्त के दिन कट जाएंगे
when all those known
अल्लाह ताला
things are in
फरमाता है
his
मैं जब देता हूँ बग़ैर हिसाब
mental computer, and he may
तो इस
think that
तरह
I can get this if this happens and that happens. I get monies from here or from there. Then my problems, my financial problem will disappear. But then Allah says that when I give it, then I give without any measure, and then it's also beyond your measure. Your accounts cannot calculate it, and you are amazed when it seems as if the earth, the sky has opened up and you have been showered with blessings. And we are saying this is it is in my experience that daily I hear this, that people say that in a difficult time when it seemed as if this sacrifice we shall not be able to do, when we decided that we are going to do it, no matter what happens, let it happen. And then some have kept monies for other who had kept monies for other purposes. They gave those in the cause of Allah, and Allah gave them from such a place from which they could not have imagined getting any money. There was no mention of that place from anywhere, and suddenly the monies would be given. But here there's an interesting relationship of hisab, of accounting, that to make you understand that it's to do with your good deed. So Allah gives exactly that much money as somebody gave, or as much money as was needed. So how could you say that this is without measure? Because you're saying that I think this is also included in Bighair Hisab, or without measure. But it means that you could not have minhasul la yahtasib, that I will give you from where you could not have imagined. But as you're saying, the reason why I'm doing the accounting, because so that you understand that this is Allah's blessing and it is not as a result of some accident. One of the meanings of husban is fast winds, and this is also mentioned in some dictionaries. And one meaning is for coolness to descend from the sky, and this is in a particular dictionary, and there's a meaning. It is in the Holy Quran, wa yusru alayha husbanum min as-samai wa tusbiha sa'idan zalaqa, and Allah makes husban descend from the sky. So when the crops are ready to be harvested today or tomorrow, then suddenly a husban descends from the heavens, and it completely destroys their all their efforts for the whole year. So this also has to do with the Yom Hisab, the day of accounting. Husban refers to a cold, kind of cold, which punishes the farmer and sorts him out. Whether he can tie it to his apparent some sin or not, but it seems that this is a dictionary meaning in dictionary, because in the same way the Holy Quran mentions this word, that in order to take account of them, a kind of cool wind descends on them, or coolness descends on them, which is sometimes the cold of which suddenly destroys their crops. Then Huzur is saying that Wakil is someone on whom one puts one's trust, and I've already told you this. And now let us discuss about why this the discussion of why this verse was revealed. Huzur is asking Mili Javed Sahab to find a particular verse. Allazina istajabu lillahi wa rasuli min ba'di asabahumul qarhu. Those people who responded to the call of Allah and His Prophet, they said yes, whereas it was difficult for them to say yes. Istajaba has this meaning in it. And despite the fact that they had been hurt, لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا مِنْهُمْ وَاتَّقَوْا أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. Of them, those people who showed this, displayed this extreme beauty and who were righteous, for them there is an amazing reward. In this, about this subject, there is a difference, a disagreement. Some people say this is about Hamra al-Asad, which has been referred to towards, and some, according to some, it is about something else. As we're saying, I'll tell you in a minute.
मर्रुज़ ज़हरान,
Huzur is looking for reference.
मर्रुज़ ज़हरान जिसे उस्मान भी कहा जाता है, उससे ताल्लुक़ रखने वाला वाक़या।
मर्रुज़ ज़हरान,
एक वाक़या तो मैं आपको पहले बता चुका हूँ।
Marruज़ Zahran, which is also called Usfan. This is an incident that occurred at that place. One incident I've already told you in what happened at Hamra al-Asad was that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, immediately after the Battle of Uhud, this next day he declared that everybody should get ready. All of those who were with me in Uhud, they should all gather together. They should all come with me again, and we shall chase the enemy. And this decision he did because, according to some historians, because he received news that the enemy is gathering together at that particular place, is waiting there. Huzur is saying that we're not sure whether he received news, and I haven't found any reference which is trustworthy. That Huzur is saying that I remember slightly that perhaps something there might have been a news about this. So, but I had rejected that reference. Huzur says that I think that Allah told him, this was news given to him about Allah, and this could not have been as a it could not have been out of it could not have been an accident. It was a treatment that the Muslims required, and it was to show the greatness of their faith, and it was to close the mouths of those enemies who had raised allegations and said certain horrific and hurtful things against the companions, which I've already mentioned before. So this incident was not a small incident, and it was an incident which made the Battle of Uhud into an incredible victory rather than defeat. If you look around in history, you will not find any such example in history. Huzur actually said the Battle of Badr, but Huzur is saying that Huzur is saying that he forgot, and he said, Huzur saying that Huzur had a horse when he was a young man, and it would trip. And Huzur saying the reason why I said Badr was because it has to do with association, and because some commentators say that this refers to the second Badr. So Huzur saying that the incident that occurred at the field of Uhud, completely negating that. And it was completely negated by this incident in Hamra, what happened at Hamra al-Asad. So Huzur saying, let me tell you in brief what happened. Huzur said, come with me, and those people who did not have any right, those injured ones, and most didn't, and they were such that they all started to go. Some injured men say that we used to carry our other injured brothers sometimes in different places when it was impossible for them to walk any further, and they walked 8 miles out of Medina, from where there is absolutely no chance of anyone running away, and they and they went after an enemy who is apparently victorious, about whom people said that they have left them out of their mercy. Otherwise, they could have destroyed the Muslims, and historians say that they could have destroyed the Muslims if they wanted to, and only 14 of them died. And it was it was an army of 3,000, and these few people went after them. Only 300 of them went after them, and they were injured deeply inside, and they were also They were also apparently injured, and they thought that the one upon whom we wanted to shower our bodies, and he is hurt. So, and they were extremely hurt deep inside. So this happened to remove that, and this was the destiny of Allah, and there was nothing else but to do but this, to raise their morale. And Allah told them to go after the army and take them to a place where no enemy can ever say that they were afraid that perhaps this way we would be saved. They did not care about that at all. It never entered their minds. If there is a news, then it could have been that they were told that the enemy is about to attack. But the decision was not as a result of that. The decision, as far as I'm concerned, was due to a revelation, and I don't think there was any other basis for it. So if there was any news, then the people who attended, it was even more difficult for them. They were waiting, and he is about to attack, and yet they started going. And as I was saying, that I've told you this before, that this has to do with that verse in which some Orientalists say this is out of place. This shouldn't be here, and its place is there, and this very clearly explains it and tells us that that was the right place for it. It could not have any other place except that, and that is سَنُلْقِي فِي قُلُوبِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الرُّعْبَ بِمَا أَشْرَكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَمَأْوَاهُمُ النَّارُ وَبِئْسَ مَثْوَى الظَّالِمِينَ. That this incident occurred, which resulted in you being damaged in the Battle of Uhud, but we promise you that very soon we will cause an awe to be struck in their hearts, and it will be because of their idolatry. It will not be because of your mustering together. It will be because of their own idolatry, and their abode is hell. And I said that this has to do with Hamra al-Asad, and this occasion, this incident is to prove the enemy to be wrong. And in Huzur is saying that now we have found a very beautiful reference, and those people who used to laugh at Uhud, they are forced to admit that this is what happened, and they are forced to admit that the enemy's heart had terror in their hearts. Huzur is saying, let me tell you about this. What Mr. Wari says, first he Surah saying that he is saying that Sail is saying this, but he's saying two things about Sail. The second thing Surah saying that I haven't mentioned to you just yet, so let me explain that to you, and then I'll come towards this, which is that according to some people this has to do with Badr Sani, that is, you're saying that I've forgotten that name again, Badr Tahran or Uthfan. It's a place where before going there, Abu Sufyan, that is before the incident of Hamra al-Asad, before going from he said that although we are going, but we will come back and we will punish you. And this time, in the occasion of Badr, we
मगर
will,
असल जो
we
मजा
will,
उस वक्त आएगा जब बदर के मैदान में बदर का बदला लिया जाएगा।
he said that we are
हम वहाँ
not,
आएंगे, इसलिए अब
although
आइंदा
we
साल
have
आएंगे, वक्त बता गया था किस वक्त आना है, सब बातें तय कर
taken the revenge of Badr, but we will take our revenge at the occasion of Badr again properly.
हज़रत रसूल करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम उस मैदान में अपने साथियों के साथ पहुंच गए और
he says that the next, and he told them what time and where he would come. So the next year the Holy Prophet ﷺ arrived there with his companions at that same spot, and Abu Sufyan did not come. Why did he not come? Because the terror was again as a result of the results of Uhud. This verse had to play its part, and Allah says that it will do so twice. Therefore, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, at that second Badr, he himself said that this was a terror of Allah because of which the enemy did not come. So that occasion is that incident is something else which occurred a year later. But Huzur is saying that it is this incident that Sale has raised the questions. The first of all, that this verse indicates towards Hamra al-Asad, and also that according to some, it also indicates towards this other incident, and Sale thinks that I think that the Usfan reference is stronger. This is what we are going to talk about, where he says, when news was brought to Muhammad ﷺ after the battle of Uhud that the enemy, repenting of their retreat, were returning towards Medina, he called about him those who had stood by him in the battle and marked out to meet the enemy as far as Hamra al-Asad, about 8 miles from the town. They were forced to be carried. It's a long statement. He says that when the Holy Prophet ﷺ was told after the battle of Uhud, that the enemy is feeling remorse as to why it did not finish what it was set out to achieve and why it has retreated. And he is now going back towards, returning back towards Medina. Called about him means that he called people around him, those who stood by him in the battle, those people who were with him, who were faithful with him in the battle of Uhud. It doesn't mean that when only a few were left, when the battle was at the end, he means that all those who took part with him in the battle of Uhud, he said, marked out to meet the enemy as far as Hamra al-Asad. They chased after the enemy up to Hamra al-Asad, which is 8 miles out of Medina, and they were forced to be carried. And there were some among them who were so in such bad condition because of their injuries that they had to be carried. He has used the word forced to be carried. He has used such words which could have two meanings instead of praising them, that they had they desired, they were so compelled by their desire that they went even if they were even if they had to be carried, they still wanted to go. But by saying he was forced to be carried, he's saying that they were taken by force. They were taken by force, whereas there's no single reference found like in this about this. And he has taken refuge in this meaning, so that if anyone raises any objection, he can say that, well, all I meant was that they were injured, but a panic fear having seized the army of the Quraysh, they changed their resolution and continued their march home. But
पैनिक फियर ने
A
उनको पकड़
panic fear struck them,
ऐसा
seized
दिल
them.
हिला देने वाला
Their
रोग उनको
hearts
तारी
were
हुआ
so
जिन्होंने लल्ला
trembled,
परंदाम कर दिया
which made them
और उस
jitter,
रोग के
and as a result of
नतीजे
that
में
terror,
ये वापस मदीना
they
जाने
were
पर मजबूर हो गए
forced
इसके
to
सिवा
return to
कोई चारा
Medina.
कोई
They
नहीं
had no other option but to do that.
अब ये वो दुश्मन
These
इस्लाम
are
जो
those enemies of
अभी थोड़ी
Islam
देर पहले
who
तक
just for a little
फतेह
while,
कुरैश के अहले मक्का
only a
की
little
फतह के
while ago,
शाजाने बजा रहा था
he was talking
और कहता
about
इस तरह जलील और रुसवा किया इस तरह उनको तहस नहस करके रख दिया
the
कुछ भी
enemies
उनका बाकी नहीं बचा उनकी रहम पर
he was loading the enemy
अगले
for
सांस में ये बात मानने पर
destroying
मजबूर
the Muslims, and the next
हमराउल
breath
असद में एक और वाकया हो गया
he is forced to
उस
admit
दुश्मन
that
की जलने
this
वाला
happened
दरकम
at
एक
the
जान
Amra
निकली
al-Asad, and the enemy was
जिनके
terrorized,
पीछे जख्मी
and
पड़ते थे
these
जिनको
injured had gone
फोर्स
after
करके
them,
वहां
who
पहुंचाया
had
गया
been
था
taken there by force,
कैसा
according
रोग
to
है
him. What kind of terror
ये
is
उसी
this?
आयत का रोग है
It is the terror of that
सनुल्की
verse,
في
سنلقي في قلوبهم
قلوب
في
الذين
قلوب الذين
كفروا
كفروا
الرعب
الرعب and
मैं वादा
Ashraku.
करता हूँ
Allah
अपने
is
खुदा
saying that I
वादा
promise
कि
that
अनकरीब उन पर हम
very
रोग तारी
soon we
करेंगे
shall
इसलिए तुम्हारे
cause
सब
a
जख्म
terror
धुल
to
जाएंगे
descend upon them,
जो
and all
ज़ाहिरी
your
जख्म हैं वो तो
injuries
अच्छे होने ही
will
हैं तुम्हारी
become
सुरह
better.
भी जाती रहेगी
Not only your apparent
उसकी
injuries,
तकलीफ भी
obviously
जाती रहेगी
they'll
क्योंकि
be
इसके
lessened,
जवाब में फिर
but
जब अल्लाह ताला ने
the
फरमाया ये वाकया
internal
हो गया
injuries
है
that you
तो
suffered,
फरमाता
they
है
will also be
लिल्लज़ीना
removed.
आहसनू मिनहुम
And then Allah says,
वत्तक़ौ
الَّذِينَ
अजरुन
أَحْسَنُوا مِنْهُمْ وَاتَّقَوْا
हमने तो
لَهُمْ
माफी
أَجْرٌ
को जिक्र
عَظِيم.
किया
That
था
we
इस
mentioned
बात के बाद
forgiveness,
कोई
but after
इंसान के
this
मुस्तहिक है
you deserve this
कि इनके हुस्न
glory,
अमल और हुस्न
that
ईमान
their
की तारीफ की जाए
the beauty of their
और
actions
इनके
should
तकवा
be
को एक मिसाल के
applauded,
तौर पर पेश किया जाए
and their
और
righteousness
ये
should be
वादा किया
shown,
जाए
should
कि
be
इनके
given
लिए
as an
अजर अजीम
example, and
मुकद्दर
they are given the promise from
ये है
Allah
वो
that they will have
वाकया
an
हमराउल
amazing
असद
reward. And this is the
जिसके
occasion,
मतलब वेरी
this
लिखता
is
है
the
मैं
incident of
इसको ही कोट कर रहा है पहले लेकिन
Hamra al-Asad, which has been quoted by Very.
but a panic fear
But a
having
panic
seized
fear
the
having
army of the
seized the
Quraysh
army of the
they
Quraysh,
changed their
they
resolution
changed their
and
resolution
continued their
and
march
continued
home
their march home, of which Muhammad having received intelligence,
he
he
also
also went back to Medina.
semicolon
As-
and
And according to some commentators, the Quran here approves the faith and courage of those who attended the Prophet on this occasion.
कहते हैं
He
कि
says
कुरैश
that
जब ये इत्तला
when
मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह
this
को पहुंच
news
गई
was given to the Holy
कि
Prophet
वो
sallallahu
दुश्मन
alaihi
जगह
wasallam,
छोड़ चुका है
then
और
that
रवाना हो
the
गया
enemy has departed and
तब आप
left,
वापस आए उससे पहले
only
वापस
then
आए
he returned to Medina, not
यानी
before
महज
that. So
धमकाने और डराने
it
के
wasn't
लिए
just
कोई शो
to,
बिजनेस नहीं
it
था
wasn't some show business
कि उनको कहा कि हम आ गए पीछे
to show them that they were
इंतजार
coming
फरमाते
after
रहे
them.
हैं
He
उसको
waited
मौका
there.
दिया
They
3 दिन
permitted the
रात तक
enemy
वहीं पड़ाव किए
for
रहे
3 days and 3 nights. They
जब यकीनी
encamped
इल्म हो
at
गया
that
कि
in that
दुश्मन जा
area, and
चुका
when
है
they were certain
तब
that the
आपने
enemy has
वापसी का
gone,
कसम फरमाया
then the Holy
और
Prophet
वापस आ
sallallahu
गए
alaihi wasallam returned.
कहता है some
And some commentators
commentators के सभी बात को देख रहे
saying
हैं
that it's not some
वो जानते
commentators,
हैं
all
कि
of
ये
the
बहुत ही
commentators know
तारीफ का
that this
मकाम
is
है
something which
वो
is
कहते हैं कि इस
extremely
मौके पर
praiseworthy,
उन सब सहाबा
and at
की
that occasion
तारीफ
they say
फरमाई
that
वो
all
वक्त
the
में
praises,
है
Huzur saying that is the
थोड़ी
time
जल्दी
finished,
बताइए
is finished very
फिर बाकी
quickly,
कल इंशाल्लाह
the rest is for
देखो
tomorrow
लोग बात
inshallah.
शिकायत
Huzur is
कर
saying
रहे हैं
that
कि
some
आप
people
एकदम
say
खत्म
that
कर
you
देते
suddenly
हैं
finish,
हालांकि
whereas
मैं एकदम खत्म करता हूँ
I suddenly
मगर आपके
finish,
कहने पर
but only because you tell me
तो
to.
यूरी ये है कि वो
The
उनको ये
compulsion
फिर
is
मुझे
that
हाथ आगे वो करते हैं इसके
they
बाद भी तो बातें
say
करते
that you
रहते हैं
keep talking after that as
तो
well,
उन
after the
बातों को कम
television
कर दिया
cameras
करें
are
और
off,
ये जो
switched
खत्म
off,
है इसमें
and
उसको
they
कुछ
say that
नरम कर दें आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जिसका तरीक़ है
end this
कि
properly,
कि अब ये दर्स खत्म हो
that
गया
now
है
this
अब
dars is finished,
आप फलां बात की
and now we shall
तो
talk,
मुतवज्जो
we
हो
shall
वगैरह वगैरह
say this and
समझ
that.
गए
So
अच्छा जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम
assalamu
खुदा
alaikum.
हाफ़िज़